The gift of fear. Fear is something that it's amazing. It's frustrating. It's beautiful. And most importantly, it's what we all need. Even though we may resist it, and sometimes we may just look at it as a burden. Like, why is this showing up? Why does this continue to happen? But our greatest fears end up being our biggest lessons. And they end up testing us continuously and showing us what it is that we need to do in order to take our next step. And in this human experience, we need fear. Think about it this way: if there was no such thing as fear, then all of us would either be living a life that was completely the same, or we wouldn't be able to speak with any kind of emotion or any kind of an ability for like a superhero story, because of the fact that's where true accomplishment comes in. True accomplishment comes in when you feel that you've done something. You've done something that has tested you, that maybe you quote unquote failed at several times before. And really all those failures they were opportunities to learn lessons and continue to grow. So the more things that you try, the more things that you did, it just built more and more knowledge, more and more of an awareness for what is the best way for you to navigate. And the more experience that we gain, the more habits that we create, the less our fears go down in certain areas of our lives. Doesn't matter if you're someone who is feeling like you are in a spot where your energy or your health is just not ultimately where you want it to be. You wake up each day, you're saying like, man, I know I need to change. I know I need something new. But I've built these habits for so long that I feel comfortable in continuing to do them, even though there's this inner discomfort because I have this vision that is greater of myself. And this happens to all of us, each and every one of us. And that's one of the most beautiful things about being vulnerable. Because when we're vulnerable, we're pushing up against different edges inside of us. We're moving energy around. We're able to speak about certain instances or occurrences in our lives that in the past we either avoided, or if we tried to speak about those different aspects, there was just circuits inside of us that really wouldn't allow us to fully embrace or fully discuss certain vulnerable topics about ourselves. And I think there is so much beauty to this in the human experience. You know, in a world that a lot of us are moving fast, there's always something to do, there's always some place to be. Sometimes just by slowing down, making a blueprint of what it is that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, where is this leading me to? And ultimately, what is it that I truly desire? Because each and every moment, we're creating the reality in which we live. Our brains are impartial. Whatever we feed it, whatever our thoughts are, those are a direct reflection of our actions. And the actions we take is what leads us to the places that we ultimately are going. And if we don't have this crystallized vision of what's on the other end of that, then we're at the realms of being in no man's land or la la land, where we're just drifting, we're just floating. And I know how this feels myself, where you feel like you, I remember at one point in time where I felt like I was I would say a walking human breathing machine. And what I mean by that is walking around and understanding and realizing that I'm here, that I physically exist, but not having any idea of where it is that I'm going, what is my path, where's direction, what am I creating. And one of the most beautiful aspects of that particular period within my own life, which again was something that needed to happen in order for me to be able to stand here and even talk about this today, is the opportunity to get uncomfortable and to ask those questions. So anytime we have something on the other end of us, a carrot or a dream or a vision, just something that's dangling in front of us, and we want to reach out and we want to grab it, we want to touch it, then we need to ask ourselves the powerful question: who do I need to become? How do I need to change? Me as a person, my state of being, how I'm showing up in the world, in order for me to embody what it is that I visually see as that future version of myself. And how can I carry myself within that same space today so I can create and attract that to me? Because living in this mindless, survival, fear-based state is only going to continue to attract those same aspects directly or indirectly into your life. So we all must slow down. We all must take care of ourselves and our minds, which is the most precious and the most sacred part of our entire bodies, because this mind, it just drives everything. It drives all those decisions, drives our values, how we believe about ourselves, how we look at ourselves in the mirror, what shows up, what doesn't show up. The more we cultivate the mind, then naturally, the more that our being shifts. And the more that our being shifts, the more we take direct actions that are in alignment to our truest essence and our core. And that essence and that core is what exactly we need in order for us to reduce that gap in between what this future vision is, in between where we're at right now. And it's our responsibility to continue to reduce that gap. But the key in this is knowing and not attaching your self-worth to whatever the future vision is of yourself or whatever that goal is of yourself. Because you are enough. Just who you are today, just who you are from being born into this world, you are enough. You are loved. You are a beautiful gift of creation. And there is nothing outside of you that you need externally in order for you to feel that you are enough, because you already are enough. And when we can embody that state of I am enough, I am loved, all the other things that we are creating and that we desire, it's coming from a pure space of non-attachment. It's coming from this space of, you know what? This is what I want. This is the reasons why I want this. This is what I'm going to create. This is my intention for what I'm going to create. And my self-worth is not dictated by how much money I make, by my body image and how I look, by where I live, by my circle of friends. None of those external objects dictate the worth that we have for ourselves. Then we're able to say, you know what? If I genuinely love myself for who I am and how I show up in the world and just the essence of being me, then I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose to go after this. I have nothing to lose to change the way in which I eat so that I can show up more powerfully, more energetically. So I can step deeper into that purpose or that gift that each and every one of us have from being here on earth. We're all born with them. In our life path, it'll take us down many different alleys in different directions, which are meant for our growth, until we actually continue to tap deeper and deeper and deeper into the purest and most authentic essence of who we are. So, approaching the fear, getting comfortable with the fear, looking at the fear, smiling at the fear, noticing how the fear shows up in the body, just feeling it, saying, I feel this fear. I feel it in my chest. I feel it in my shoulders. And normally I want to close down. I want to shrink. But you know what? I'm going to keep my chest open. I'm going to be present with this. And instead of me fighting it, I'm going to send some love to myself. You know what? I love this. My insecure side is trying to show up. Oh, my brain is trying to protect me. My body on a physiological level, it doesn't want me to do this because it's been comfortable showing up this certain way. And then we communicate to our bodies. We say, you know what? I'm appreciative. I'm appreciative of you wanting to protect me. I'm appreciative of you feeling as if you don't want to be threatened. And I'm going to send you some love. And with that love, I also want to express that I'm not going to allow you to keep me here in this same state. And I'm going to lean up against that fear. And I'm going to get real close to it. Right on the edge of it. And I'm going to poke right at it. It's not to fight. It's not a knockout slug. It's leaning up against it. Leaning up against the discomfort. And in this human experience, there will always be a level of discomfort. If your goal is to grow and it's to evolve and it's to live a life on purpose, a life on meaning, a life where you are actively and continuously creating for yourself, and it's coming from the most authentic space inside of you, from your heart, and you're tapping into those gifts, then there will always be a certain level of fear because you're constantly creating new experiences, you're constantly creating new habits, And we're constantly, at all times, showing with our actions and showing with our responses to those fears how committed we are to taking our next step, wherever that may be. Thank you.